In my last video, I was showing the basic programming and how to do basic manual unit testing. This video, I'm going to take that one step further. So we're going to take this simple math example that we were working on, and we're going to take it to the point where we're going to now abstract it out to where we can do some automated unit testing. Now, the automated unit testing works super easy, and it allows us to basically take where we were at with manual unit testing and just move it out so that we can do some automated unit testing. What I'm going to do here in this case is I'm going to take us to the next step to where we actually separate all of the display from the business logic. We call it separation of concerns. And it's simple because since we've already broke apart the method that we're going to use, we only have to create two new files, and these two new files allow us to do everything into this separation of concerns in a real object-oriented fashion and add unit tests. This is a very simple step up from where we are. So what I'm going to do is, in our current project, I'm going to add me a new class, and in this case I'm going to call the class runner. This is a term that I use just so that you guys understand that this is nothing more than a business logic class. You could call it a business logic even. It doesn't matter what you name it. But I want to create the runner class at this point in time. What the runner class is going to do is I'm going to come over here to my main driver. I'm going to basically copy this entire method that we wrote in the main driver. We're going to pull this out and we're going to put it into this runner object. Now, this makes it real easy because now the runner object will become what we have to do. Now, if we come back to our main class, we find out this is now broke. Notice it doesn't know where factorial is. Well, all we have to do is use the keyword runner, which is the object name. And again, don't worry why it works this way, is because that keyword static was already applied to it. But I can basically come into here, I can just change this to runner, and when I hit run in this case, you'll notice I still end up with our same answer. So again, we've now unit tested it, but we've unit tested it by hand as a separate object. So now we're moving from a programming aspect to an object-oriented aspect, and that's how we got there. Now, I can automate my unit test very simple because all I have to do now is I will add to myself a unit test file. I will traditionally call these by the project, so I'm going to call it simple math, and I add the keyword test at the end. This way I know it's unit testing. I'm going to include the JUnit that we need, and you'll notice I have all of this here ready to rock and roll. This becomes super easy to test because all I have to do on my tests is do the same thing I did in the main driver. And as you can see, if we call this runner with factorial 5, I should get 120 out. So if I come over here to the math, all I have to do is use a key call, a method called assert equals. And I'm going to say I want it to be 120, and I'm going to give it the same exact value. Now, I can take it the next step further because I can now do this exact same call, and I can do it over here with the factorial 7 like we did in the main. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say assert equals, and in this case I'm going to say it's 5040. I'm going to give it the same thing, except that I'm going to change the factorial to 7. I also have to give it the semicolon so it ends. When I've done this, now notice this is no different than what we have just done. We have already written code, we had it in main, we separated out from main into a method. That's where that method came from, and now we've moved it into its own object. So now the business logic or the intelligence math is completely outside of the main driver altogether. If I run this unit test, now you will see that the unit test will come back and it will show that the simple unit test passed. So this is how we actually progress forward. So if you need to start with everything in main, then abstract out the important logic, the business logic, into methods in main till you get it running. When you get it running, then create your unit tester to take your unit test from being a manual process into being an automated process, and this is how you solve your problem of doing automated testing.